it would be nice if I could just get you where I want you to be. What do I want to say? You know, the intro is the hardest part, but all right. All right, welcome back, guys. Today, I'm going to be bringing you through what I eat in a day, virtually every single day, that allows me to stay shredded year-round. And spoiler, I do not track my food. I know that I teach all my clients and people online that tracking food is super important, but once you've been doing it for a long period of time, you understand what you are putting into your body, and then now you can kind of just put it on autopilot. Guy forgets how to talk sometimes. It's noon, so we are gonna be starting off the day with brunch. We're gonna whip you guys up a breakfast bowl that I have every single day. If you follow me on Snapchat, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, we're gonna whip this up right now. So today we're gonna be whipping up the bacon breakfast hash brown bowl. Now I know that it comes pre-made, but I like to add a lot of different extras to the meal to volumize the meal. As for someone who doesn't necessarily track their food, I still want to make sure that I'm eating healthy. So adding things like vegetables, egg white, this is going to allow me to volumize the meal, stay fuller longer, and then still giving myself enough fuel to fuel my body on the day-to-day basis. And on top of that, making sure that I am being mindful of my protein intake. To start off this meal, I'm going to cut up some onion and some mushrooms. Going to do my absolute best to not cry. And then we're going to throw everything into the pan and whip it up real nice, you know? You know, it would be dope if I could just open this package. As mentioned before, for someone who doesn't track their food, I'm still being extremely mindful of what I'm putting into my body. Just because I don't track my food doesn't mean that I'm not eating healthy or I'm not prioritizing my protein intake. All these things are extremely important in order for me to stay shredded year round. So I'm not just necessarily going and eating A&W, McDonald's, Subway, Edo, all these different fast food joints every single day. I do eat those places for sure. Maybe not McDonald's. McDonald's is kind of bunk, to be honest with you. But I do include those fast food joints and eating out in general into my diet because I am being mindful of my portion sizes when I do eat out, everything in between. So if you're not tracking your food, one, you should probably start so you can learn what you're putting into your body. And then two, once you've learned all these things over the months and years of doing so, you still need to be mindful when eating. Now that we are done dicing up these onions and I've somehow managed to avoid crying, I'm gonna throw everything into the pan here and start frying everything up and kind of show you guys what little concoction we got going on here. Another diet hack for you guys out there, rather than cooking with your canola oils, your vegetable oils, cooking spray is going to be the best way to save on calories, as in all reality, right there, that one spray, that's 4 calories. So stop wasting calories in cooking oils and start using your cooking sprays. All right, and like mentioned before, this is a pre-made mix, so it does come with bacon and a bunch of other vegetables that are within this bag. But like I said, I do want to add my chopped up vegetables myself so I can volumize this meal. Like if you look at it, it doesn't look like a lot of food. So when I start to add the egg whites, the onions, the mushrooms, so on and so forth, I'm going to almost double the size of this meal without wasting too many calories. All right, we're gonna add our chopped up onion into the pan. I know that looks like a lot of onion, but once you fry it up, it shrinks. And honestly, onion and on top of that, mushrooms are my favorite vegetables, so I go a little overkill on them, but if you keep brushing your teeth, like, you're fine. And like mentioned, we're gonna add some mushrooms in here. In all reality, I probably could have chopped these up a little bit more so I'm not eating humongous size mushrooms, but whatever. All right, now that we got everything in the pan frying up, I wanted to provide you guys some insight. Hold on here. You know, I'm still learning the camera angles here. Now that everything is in the pan frying up right now, I wanted to provide you guys some insight on what tracking your food actually looks like and why it is beneficial to one's fitness journey. All right, like mentioned before, there are a lot of benefits to tracking your food. It's going to teach you what you are putting into your body, understanding what different macronutrients do for your body. And then on top of that, you are going to have a better understanding of nutrition as a whole. But let's be honest, tracking your food for the rest of your life is not sustainable, nor is it realistic. So for someone like myself, I tracked food for the first 2-3 years of my fitness journey. Then I got a better understanding of what I was eating, what foods I enjoyed, how much of this, how much of that, so on and so forth. The odd time I'll switch it up, and if I need to track a couple of things in order to fit it in a little bit better, then yes, I will do that if I need to update my knowledge on a said food item or whatever the case may be. But overall, tracking your food for the rest of your life is not sustainable nor realistic, like I just said. But you need to be mindful of the foods that you are putting into your body, especially when you have specific goals. So if you are someone who's in a fat loss journey, making sure that your nutrition plan is full of volumized foods is going to be crucial to keep you full longer throughout the day and just providing you with the proper nutrients that you need in order to achieve that fat loss goal. So making sure your protein intake is super high, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, that is the baseline goal for virtually everyone. So yeah, like mentioned, when you are in a fat loss journey, making sure your protein intake is high, obviously being in a caloric deficit, making sure that you are filling up your nutrition plan with high volume foods such as egg whites, Greek yogurt, vegetables, some fruits. Honestly, any food item that you find enjoyable that is low calorie, include that into your nutrition plan. That is the absolute key when it comes to dieting and being on top of your nutrition, is making sure that you are eating foods that you actually enjoy. That is going to allow you to stay on track for a realistic time frame. If you are eating foods every single day that you do not enjoy eating, you are not going to follow that meal plan, nutrition plan, whichever, for any sort of time. You are eventually going to fall off. So make sure that you guys are filling your nutrition plan with foods that you actually enjoy. All right, now that everything is basically fried up, this is where I'm going to start adding in my egg whites and eggs. Like mentioned before, I'm going to be having way more egg whites than eggs because I want to volumize this meal. I want it to be packed full of protein, and overall, eggs do have a lot more fat than egg whites. Obviously, egg whites don't have the yolk. That's where the fat content is coming from. So once again, I'm going to pack this with egg whites, add a couple of eggs in there for flavor, and then also my healthy fats. And then from there, I'll top it off with the rest of my stuff and show you guys what I whipped up. Like I wasn't playing, a healthy amount of egg whites. A healthy amount. We're gonna crack a couple of eggs in there as well because we want the healthy fats and a little bit more flavor to this meal. And then we are going to stir it all together and whip up a nice little egg and hash brown bowl. I'm telling you guys, this is the best breakfast brunch, honestly, meal. It's probably my favorite meal of the day, to be completely honest with you, just because there's so many different little things that go into it. If you're not having a breakfast hash bowl in your diet, you're missing out. It's plain and simple. Before I go and plate this meal, there's one more diet hack that I want to introduce you guys to, because a lot of us are getting so many extra calories into our meal through sauces. Low calorie or 0 calorie sauces are going to be your best friend. They are going to allow you to add more flavor to your meals without adding way too many extra calories to your meals. That's where a lot of us are going so wrong, is the condiments. We're going in and adding 1, 2, sometimes 3 extra sauces, and you're turning a nice garden salad into a 600 calorie meal. Be more mindful of your sauces. Just do it. All right, I'm going to dish out this breakfast bowl that is now going to be on a plate today so I can give you guys a better visual on exactly how much food I get out of this. Also, keep in mind that I'm only eating half of the amount that I showed you guys, as I'm cooking breakfast, technically brunch, for my roommate as well. So I kind of just want to show you how much more food that I'm getting out of this meal with being more mindful of the extra food items that I'm putting into it. You are getting a full plate of food, and remember, this is half the portion, all because of adding egg whites, mushrooms, onions, and other vegetables just to simply volumize the food. And in all reality, I probably only added at maximum an extra 150, maybe 175 calories to the entire thing. So if you cut that in half, less than 100 calories extra added to this meal alone. and we virtually doubled the entire size of the meal. And because I was being very mindful about that, this allows me to do stuff like this. I'm going to top off my breakfast with some nice old cheddar shredded cheese. Now, a lot of people would be like, oh my God, that's too many calories, that's this, that's that. I was mindful about it, therefore I get to incorporate it into my diet. This is why the give and take a little method is so important when it comes to nutrition, because it allows you to incorporate other food items that you actually enjoy. Therefore, you are enjoying the nutrition plan that you're following. And then, like mentioned before, 0 calorie or low calorie sauces. For example, this per 2 tablespoons is only 10 calories. So in all reality, I could drench this meal and it be maximum an extra 50 calories. Low calorie sauces, once again, they're gonna be your best friend. I'm using a honey Dijon today to switch it up from my usual Chipotle ranch. But once again, low calorie sauces. Like, look at that. Healthy amount of sauce, barely added any extra calories. It's the GOAT. This is the final product of meal number 1. Now I'm gonna absolutely devour that meal because it's pushing 12:30 and I have yet to eat today, and I have a few more meals that I have to run you guys through. So rather than showing me scarf down 4 or 5 different meals today, I'm just gonna see you guys at the next meal. We're gonna get back to work here. All right, next up we have my pre-workout meal. So typically I like to carb load at the beginning of my day prior to my workout. So therefore when I go into my workout, I have the most amount of carbs going through me. I'm full of energy. The pump is better, so on and so forth. There's a bunch of scientific reasons that I'm not going to get into right now. I like to carb load at the beginning of my day before my workout. So my pre-workout meal is simply oats, protein powder, and then I sprinkle the magic potion, a little bit of brown sugar on top. This is packed full of carbs. I'm getting the sufficient amount of protein, and then I'll walk you guys through my pre-workout meal. Once again, I'm not weighing out any of my stuff. I kind of just eyeball it because I got a pretty good idea on what my portion sizes are, and I usually kind of base it off of my hunger levels. That's gonna be enough oats for the time being. All right, we are going to pop this bad boy in the microwave for about 1 minute and 20 seconds. And then once it is cooked, I'm going to simply just add some protein powder into it, sprinkle some brown sugar on top, show you guys what it looks like, and then see you guys at the pre-workout meal. All right, now that the oatmeal is out of the microwave, I'm going to quickly stir it up. You kind of want it like a thick but like moist consistency, if that makes sense. And then now, simple, just add a scoop of your favorite protein powder. I've been digging this chocolate fudge one by Believe Supplements. For those of you in the Victoria area, make sure you guys stop in at Supplement King Uptown. Use my name at checkout, and Ash and Tyler are gonna hook you guys up with the best prices on the island. Now, with that all being said, I'm gonna whip up this protein powder into the oats that are already made. I'm gonna sprinkle some brown sugar on top, and then from there, I am going to absolutely devour this so I can get back to work. And then I will see you guys at the pre-workout meal. All right, so I lied. I'm actually going to be going to the gym a little bit later than expected. So I'm going to have one of my snacks that I have typically throughout the day. So this snack is super easy. It's just Greek yogurt spread on top of these rice cakes. I get the apple cinnamon flavor, and then I use a vanilla flavored Greek yogurt. It's high in protein for the most part, but not anything super crazy, as I'm not adding protein powder to my Greek yogurt or necessarily using enough for it to be considered a very high protein meal. But once again, I do like to get all my carbs in before my workout. So it's gonna be a little bit on the higher end for carbs. But honestly, if you guys have yet to try anything like this meal, you guys definitely have to try it. I could eat 100 of these throughout the day if I really wanted to. Like, it really doesn't get better than this. And then I am going to pair it with a protein refresher just to make sure that I'm still getting a sufficient amount of protein in throughout the day. I'll sip on that over the next like couple hours, so I wouldn't necessarily add it to this meal. But for those of you who are probably wondering, how is he getting his protein intake in without necessarily tracking it? I'm having a couple to a few scoops of protein each and every day. And then on top of that, I'm making sure that each meal that I do have is extremely high in protein. So that's how I'm making sure that my protein intake is relatively high. So we got the Greek yogurt and Those are rice cakes right there. You can't see them, but I'm gonna have 4 of them. And then now I'm going to whip up my protein refresher. Typically, I do a scoop or a scoop and a half. So today, as per usual, I'm probably just gonna do a scoop and a half just to make sure I get about 30 to 35 grams in right here. I will then see you guys for the pre-workout meal. I promise that's the next one. And for the pre-workout meal, it's going to sound bonkers for a lot of people, but I like it. My body digests it well. And honestly, it slaps. It is something as simple as vanilla Greek yogurt topped off with frozen mangoes. I let the mangoes thaw just a little bit, so when I'm consuming the meal, that it isn't like eating ice cubes. It actually like is chewable and tastes good and adds more flavor to the Greek yogurt because it kind of melts in there, does its little scientific little whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I know a lot of us were probably thinking something typical like cream of rice or another bowl of oatmeal or whatever, but this is going to allow me to still get my protein intake once again. Although this is higher in carbs due to the fact that it is flavored, there is more carbs. So I'm kind of getting the best of both worlds here. And then on top of that, adding in the frozen mango, we're just doubling down on carbs. As you guys can tell, filming these YouTube videos some days is a little bit difficult. I can kind of go off rambling and on tangents and exactly what I'm doing right now, but you know what? We're getting better. Today's pre-workout meal, once again, Greek yogurt, frozen mango. I'm gonna let this thaw out. I'm gonna absolutely dust it. And then gonna go to the gym and hit a little bit of shoulders and back. That is a very good amount of mango. That's what I like to see. And then, yeah, once I get back from the gym, I'm gonna walk you guys through my post-workout meal. And that is going to conclude today's video, so stay tuned. All right, we just finished up at the gym and I am absolutely starving. So I'm gonna show you guys what my post-workout meal and probably final meal of the day is going to be. If I do have another one, it's not even gonna be a meal. I'm probably just gonna have another shake because your boy's tired and I don't feel like cooking again. So that's what we're gonna do. But the last meal of the day is going to be a pre-made chicken and rice with some corn and onion in there. And just for more protein intake and to increase my fats just a little bit today, I am going to whip up a couple salmon fillets. I'm just air frying them, man. Like they don't need to be, I eat for fuel. Like I probably should have bought better salmon. Well, there's nothing I can really do on that one, but yeah, that is a full day of eating with me. Obviously, it's nothing crazy nor special. It would look a little bit different if I did have any sort of cheat meal, eating out in any way, shape, or form. So for the next one, I will incorporate that kind of stuff and provide you guys a little bit more to the YouTube video rather than me just blabbing for however long this video is going to be. But thank you for those who stuck around and watched this entire video. I hoped that you were able to get some insight on nutrition and all the other stuff I was blabbering about. See you guys at the next one. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe.